Got a little fountain down here. Good afternoon. This is Mike Tillison at the Senior Center.
Yeah, it is. Wait, I don't think yeah, we're gonna try to get this microphone going. Turn it on? Yeah, we gotta turn it on. Okay. This is actually gonna be the anybody want me to taser back there?
Yes.
Well, is that the boys? The boys are getting out of control?
Yes.
All right. Well, maybe instead of like, I'll take them out back to slap them around. So I actually got a supervisor here today.
Okay.
So, yeah. Actually, I'm going to have a survey. We have to turn in a survey. You don't have to do it right now. I can't hand them out while he's talking. It just goes over what you liked about the class, or if we do this again, we are going to be in Wexford for sure, but we can come back to Manistee if you guys want us to. But we're actually going to be teaching this in all 5 counties that we're responsible for. So your input would be great, and then Lansing knows that I was actually here teaching this job, or teaching this class. So yeah, fill out the survey for me. And but if you can't do it today, we're going to have other people here. I'm going to leave copies with Jeannie, and she can take care of it. Right? All right. Today we're having somebody from, we call it the ES team, the emergency service team. These guys are, they're pretty tough. He's actually retired from the ES team. He took a promotion, and now if you promote, I think it's maybe changed, but when Rich, Sergeant Kaplan, he actually lives right here in town. When he took a promotion, he had to leave the ES team, which is unfortunate because these guys, like officers, it takes a lot of skill, a lot of training that they have to go through to become ES team members, and it's a pretty unique elite unit. And so, and you got to be a little. I think they got dumb buttons. They can just turn those on, and they don't feel the pain and all they have to go through. So that's one thing you have to be on the ES team. Yeah. And he's actually, he came here on his own time today because he had hurt his surgery and he had some shoulder surgery, and they're actually very rare and hard to get a hold of. So Rich was my fail-safe. I tried to get a hold of some guys up in northern part of Petoskey, but one guy was on vacation and the other guy, he was just too busy. He couldn't make his way down here. So here you go. Here's Sergeant Rich Capel.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sergeant Rich Capling. I started in the state police back in 1999. I went through the Michigan State Police Training Academy. Then when I graduated the academy, I was posted in Manistee when we had post. And I worked out of Manistee all the way up through 2012 when they did the reorg. Then I went from there, and then I was assigned to Cadillac. And then I got onto the ES team. I was on the ES team. I've done the drug team. Fugitive team, taught at the training academy for about almost 2 years. Then I got on the fugitive team, and then when I was on the fugitive team, I ended up taking a promotion down to Hart, where I've been for the last 2 years. My family, my wife and kids, we all live here in Manistee off of Cherry Road. When a spot comes open, sometime hopefully, I'll try to get Cadillac started. When I got on the ES team, you have to go through a selection process. You have to know people on the team, and then you also have to get approval by your commander at the post, and then they send it up the line. Then you have to do an interview process, a physical fitness assessment as well. Then you have to do 3 times a year to stay on the team. During the interview process, I was selected, and then we went through a 9-week basic school, that they call it, down at Fort Custer and all throughout the state. For the training, at the school, we went through a lot of different things, how to walk through the woods and be quiet, how to approach buildings, how to approach cars, how to shoot cars, how to shoot buildings too, and all that stuff. We also trained with using different guns and how to encounter different individuals, as you see nowadays, we have a lot of active shooters through malls, houses, hospitals, as we've seen here lately. But we've also gone to suicide bomber trainings that was out in Mexico, and that was 2 weeks that we went out and did that. All throughout that training, and after graduating from the 9-week school, I then came back to the post, and then 15 of us went through the basic training school, and there was 45 of us throughout the state. I don't want to call it strategically placed throughout the state, but we had 45 of us all throughout the UP and the Lower Peninsula.
Thank you.
And then if an instance comes up where we have like a barricaded gunman, suicidal subject, or if we have to arrest someone that's got serious warrants or anything like that, or you guys heard of meth? Drugs? Well, a lot of the officers, because it's so dangerous to enter into those houses, we had, on the S team, we had special respirators that we had to wear and filters and everything else and special gear. So that when we had to go arrest someone, they called us. In order to get activated for any of these instances, it has to be approved, send up through the chain of command. Since I'm a sergeant, I have to send it up to my lieutenant. My lieutenant's got to go to that district commander, who's a captain, and get the approval through Lansing for us to be activated. Depending on what it is, whether it's just a warrant, we're serving a warrant, or if it's a hostage situation, or barricaded gunman, it depends on how many people are going to be activated for my team. Yes, ma'am.
How long does it take?
Oh, it can sometimes take a while.
But what if you were really in need of getting there, like right now?
Like, if we had to do that, like if it was something that urgent, that's why we're police officers. Sometimes we have to go in. It's just the way it is.
How many are in your team?
We have 45 people, at a time, we have approximately 45 people. And what it does is if it gets activated, we all had phones, and our phones would go off, and we just call in operations, which is down in Lansing, and say, we're on our way, and we go there. Now, me being a troop at the time when I was on the team, if I get to the location first, I'm the team commander. I'm in charge of that situation. Even if my lieutenant, who's on the team, shows up, I'm his boss at this point. I tell him where to go. And that's, sometimes people don't like that too much, but that's fine, but that's just the way it is. But that's how we would do it. And the team has since changed. When I was on the team, if we got promoted, we had to leave. And that's when I ended up getting the sergeant spot in Hart. But now what they have done is they have specialized it so much to where they made the team full-time. When I was on it, I worked the road, took complaints. Like if you had like you hit a cart or you hit a deer, I'd come out and take the complaints, but then when the phone went off, I had to go. Now it's specialized so much to where it's full-time. So they go around, put on trainings, active shooter trainings that I think you've probably seen it on TV, where they go in where there's people that are shooting inside a building, and people have to go in. And they have to put on training for the post, they put on displays at fairs, and they also put on, like what I'm doing right now, they go out and talk to people about what we do for the state police and for the county and whatever else. They also serve and go around, they do specialties like traffic teams. They go out for speeders, seatbelts, and all those, and they go out looking for sex offenders. They go out and make sure that they're registered and all that stuff too. With me right now, anyways, like I said, I had to get off, and I have not been able to, I've been off for about 2 years, so I am not in contact with them all the time, but I do see those guys.
Have you ever been in a situation where you just go immediately to a hostage situation?
Oh, yes. About 2 years, 3 years ago, we had a subject north of town that was a 15-year-old girl that was shot.
Oh, I mean,
And I was in charge of that. We had located that gentleman, and we ended up doing it. And that developed rather rapidly, where we had to find him and everything else. So I mean, even not on the EST, it's made up
how far away are your two members? I mean, like how soon can they get there to you if you need help?
I'll put it this way to you. When I was assigned to the training academy down in Lansing, and we had a situation in the UP up by Marquette. We had 10 guys in the UP that were close, or in the UP. It took them either 30 minutes to 2 hours to get there, but they also took 9 of us from Lansing on a plane and flew us up there, just because it was quicker to fly us than it was for people to drive down here up to there. And it's a lot safer.
And during those incidents, there's police officers coming from everywhere.
Regular.
But yeah, just us little people. Yeah, we're getting there as fast as we can, and we have a lot of different gear in our cars. So what we're doing is we're holding kind of the fort down because there's like a specialized situation that's going on where these guys are, you know, they have all the tactical experience. They have different robots, and they have different gases that they can use, different ways to take somebody out without lethal force. If there's ever going to be a situation where they can go into a very hostile situation without taking somebody's life, it's going to be these guys, just because of the training that they have.
So what you do basically is secure the perimeter for them to get to the situation, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Yes.
And then as we show up, what we usually do,
Then they back up.
when I say we, ES team, when the ES team members show up, what they do is they normally relieve the
Okay.
patrol officers from the perimeter so that
Okay, so the regular policemen don't actually have to go into the situation?
Correct.
most of the time.
And it depends on the situation. If there's a school shooter, as soon as I get there, if somebody's not within a few minutes, I'm going in
Yep.
by myself, and I don't care. Yep.
That's why we train everybody in our department and other agencies.
And that training that I receive as a regular police officer, I get it from these guys. So they're the ones, when we go into a room, if I'm not looking in this room, I'm not checking the corner, these are the guys that are saying, hey Rich, what are you doing? You know, I'm just not used to that like they are every day.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, thank you.
But yeah, when I was on the ES team, we had to, every month, we had, it's now twice a month, we had to qualify with all of our guns, which is, we had 2 machine guns, M4 rifle, M14, we had shotguns, and then we also had a sniper rifle that had a scope, and then we also had our primary sidearms that we had to qualify every month. And then 3 times a year, we had to qualify with a PT test, a physical training test. We had to do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups,
Bench press.
run, bench press, you know, and you had to meet minimum qualifications, which
Far and exceed most of our standards.
So you had to be because
In shape.
I weighed 165 when I was in the ES team. Gained a little weight. I haven't done anything with my shoulder or anything, but when I was on, we had vests, ballistic vests that could stop. Does anybody know anything about guns? A sniper rifle, like a 308 round. Our vest would stop a 308 round.
Really?
But with that, it weighed 65 pounds.
Wow.
So you're wearing that, plus a helmet that weighs 12 pounds.
How do you move?
Well, then you carried a shield that weighed 65 pounds. And then you had pants on that would stop the 2 that weighed 20. So I doubled my weight, but I also lost 4 inches because I used to be 6 foot.
There you go.
And it shrunk a little bit. But wearing that stuff, exactly, I'm lying. But I've always been short. But wearing all that stuff, that's what we're trained for. We train in the heat of August, and we train in the cold of January. And we've been out on perimeter points. I've been on perimeter points where it's been -20. But I've also been in houses where it's been 130 degrees and you're sweating and you just can't do it. But that's what we train for. That's what we specialize in.
Wow.
We also train in rappelling and fast roping from helicopters. We've trained with the Customs and Coast Guard so that they can take us into situations, and we just fast rope out of helicopters into areas where you just can't drive, or it would take you too long to get there. So that being said, I mean, I've done a lot of things. It afforded me a lot of training that I would otherwise wouldn't get, or the regular road officer would not. But when I'm done with it, the biggest thing that you can do is take it out to the guys that are working the road so that they know what they're doing.
Well, you've been out for 2 years. How long is it going to take you to get back into sync and then back into shape?
Well, just because of my shoulder, I usually run and I do PT, and I usually pretty physically fit. But with my shoulder, it's killing me. And it's a good time of the year to do it, but it's. I would rather not have done it, but I just couldn't live with my shoulder anymore. I had to get it done. So I missed the team. That was probably the funnest thing that ever done. That with the Fugitive team too, just going around looking for people. But it was that was probably the funnest part of the department. You don't really see the people that work in that aspect of it because it's just, I mean, we're behind the scenes. We go into the situations and then we leave. It's a free service, I guess if you want to call it, to local, county, and state, because we don't cost anything. I mean, taxpayers, yes, you pay for it. But if we assist the county, if the county wants us to come out, we don't charge anything for it other than just our wages, just for coming out. And that's paid through tax dollars. So, but throughout the state also, we have specific equipment for meaning trucks, bulletproof armored vehicles. We have one in the UP, and we have two in the Lower Peninsula, one over by Grand Rapids, and the other one over by Detroit, so that we can use for deploying gas into houses or for approaching houses that would be otherwise too dangerous with other vehicles. I've been in situations where I've been shot at inside that vehicle 3 times, as a matter of fact, and it wasn't much fun, but it was interesting to be shot at. And I know it's good to know that that glass will stop.
Yeah.
Bullet. So, yes, sir.
My stepson was in Afghanistan in the army, and he had body armor. Was his body armor similar to yours?
I would say yes.
It was very
it
heavy.
must have been very similar because right now what they're doing is a lot of everything that we get as an agency, as a state police, most of it comes or has been trained or been used by the federal government or our armed services. Because of what has happened over in the Middle East, it naturally just kind of comes down the line. If it works there, it's going to work here.
Sure.
And that's most of the time what you see from local departments is their armored vehicles usually come from federal agencies and it goes down to the local agencies.
Yeah, even the way we're treating wounds now.
Yes.
The stuff that we have in our car is what the military learned in Afghanistan, and tourniquets too. We got away from those, but now we all have tourniquets everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 in my car, 1 on my person, another one on my vest. I also have a tactical vest that is ridiculous, they issued them all to us. So yeah, we're getting everything from what's going on, how to patch ourselves up, and how to hopefully, if one of us gets shot, we have the stuff right on us, so Rich knows he can just tear and look for that tourniquet on my vest, or he's going to have one on himself as well.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's it was a fun time for the 5 years that I did do the EST, and that's basically what I've done. But anybody got any questions?
See, that's what's wrong with these guys. They say that's fun. I did like a 3-day, what's that called, grade school down at Fort Custer, and the food's absolutely miserable. They kept me on my feet for about 10 hours a day in the heat, and I've never seen a place that has more mosquitoes in my life than Fort Custer. And I have to tell you, after 3 days, I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. But yeah, these guys, 9 weeks was the school.
Yeah, 9 weeks was my school.
Talk a little bit about the negotiation that goes on, even before, at the time you guys are there, like the negotiators.
Oh, negotiators on our team?
Yeah, so each team, go ahead.
Our team is, we also have negotiators that are on our ES team as well. I believe that there is right around 20, and they're also aligned throughout the state so that if something does happen, a hostage situation or a barricaded situation, they come with us. What they do is we try to get, if something like that were to happen, 2 of them would come with us, and they would set up close to the area of where the barricade or hostage situation's at. At some point in time, we would try to make communications with the subject that's inside the house, and we'd also try to put, be it a cell phone or a throw phone that we would call, which would be like a landline, something like this would go in there so that we know that we can get service. We would try to get the throw phone to the suspect inside, and then the negotiator would then try to, through the doctor, the psychologist that's also assigned to our team, or our physician, would try to talk the subject out of the house to a peaceful resolution so that it doesn't have to come to a lethal conclusion. I've seen it about 99% of the time. It's always worked itself out. We have great people that can talk to you. It's either the people give up because they're tired of the person talking on the other line, or it's because of that they're that good. And most of the time, it's because they're that good. And that's what they train. They go when we have our trainings 3 times a year, which are a week long themselves. Those trainings, that's all they do. Is the scenarios where they try to talk people out of committing something, or committing a crime, or hurting someone, or whatever else. And they also go through trainings throughout the United States to learn more improved tactics, or
It's like suicide prevention.
correct. Because I mean, ultimately, what it comes down to is that we're trained to can, but we don't want to. I don't know. I mean, being in law enforcement, that's not what you're trying to do at any point in time. You want to make sure that people are safe and everybody can go home. And you don't want someone to get hurt. But the negotiators are basically the unsung heroes of everything, because all you're seeing is the guys in big uniforms and everything else and whatever else. But they're the ones that are trying to talk the person out of the house so that people go home.
If you're in a hostage situation, there's a child involved, will do most of the time they let the kid out?
Yes, I'll put it that way. And that's the, if there's a hostage situation, we want to make sure, unless someone's getting hurt, or we know that someone's going to get hurt, we're waiting for them to allow people to leave. That's the last thing we want to do, is go in and force a situation where someone gets hurt and killed or whatever else. So we want to make sure that we give the negotiators or whoever enough time to talk to the suspect so that we can get people out of the house. So that'd be the utmost importance, to make sure that they get out of there.
Have you ever run into suicide like that?
Yes. Working the road as a troop and out on complaint with the EST.
How do you
Yeah.
determine if that's what's going on? I mean, they're not gonna tell you.
Oh, yeah, sometimes, yes.
Oh, do they?
Oh, yeah, and it's sometimes they will, I mean, it's plain and they know it, and that's why you're there, and they've told people that they don't want, it's sad. I mean, because the last thing I want on my mind, because the person, you're making a person make a decision to kill someone. And I don't think that's not fair. I mean, it's just, if you're going to do that to yourself, that's one thing. I'm not saying it's right, but to make someone else take your life, it's kind of unfair.
Would you get a negotiator then at that
Yes,
point?
yes. Long before that, hopefully you can. If it's a rapidly evolving situation and you can't, that's again where we have an active shooter type situation where we think someone's going to get hurt and we have to go in there. As a road officer, as a sergeant, or anybody in our command, you're trained to go into those situations and take care of it. If we're allowed time to set up and use our assets, which is the ES team or the bomb squad, so that we can use the robots that send into the houses to see if everybody's okay or if someone's dead or deceased or whatever, we'll use those. Because the last thing we want to do is force a situation. That's it. It's the last thing we want to do. Yep. Yes, sir.
Is there a typical mindset of the subject?
No. I've been in many situations where you think, okay, I think they're going to do this, and it goes completely the other way. And I think that's why, depending on what type of situation we have, if we're going to do a warrant service, we use 10 guys. If we have a barricaded situation, we use 17 guys. If we have a hostage situation, we use up to 21 guys. And with those 21 guys, you have 21 different experiences out there, so that if the situation changes, you can look to your guy and say, what's going on? He's like, we need to do this. Because he's been on the team for 10 years. And the other guy that's the team leader has like 2 years. And he's never been exposed to it. So I've never been to two same situations. It's always different. What's up?
When you get to a hostage situation, what is a typical time you're going to be there? Is it 4 hours, 2 days?
Oh, I've been back in 2012. Do you remember the incidents that happened over in Houghton Lake, where they were transporting a prisoner back from Houghton Lake or from Roscommon back to, I believe, like Tawas, and the prisoner ended up getting the deputy's gun and taken them hostage and then kicked them out of the car and then went into the woods. Well, we looked for them for 2 weeks. So that was 2 weeks.
Wow.
Now, I've been on, with being in the state police and on the ES team, you could have a situation that happens in Detroit. I can take off from here, and by the time I get there, it's done. And it can have, where it lasts minutes, seconds, or days. And that's what we're trained for. And I had about 110 hours of overtime on that 2 weeks.
So that guy that was in the woods, is he still there, or did you finally get him?
Oh, we found him. I found him. I found him.
Good.
I found him. He was in like a elevated deer hunting blind. We ended up booting in the door, and he was right there.
He's probably hungry by that time.
He was. He was drinking swamp water, and it didn't go well with his body, so he ended up not having some. He lost like 30 pounds.
I was gonna say, I need to do that every spring.
Yeah, that's swamp water.
Have the ES team chase me in the woods.
Just take up. We'll give you a base head start. So, but yeah, like I said, there's no situation's been the same twice. Been similar, but they've never been the same. And then it's gone from seconds, minutes, all the way up to days for us. And that's why sometimes you just need time. There's no reason. There are certain situations where you need to force them, but that's when people are getting hurt. And that's when you have no choice. You need to go in. But otherwise, you just need to hold back, try to let the negotiators try to help or negotiate the situation. And if they can't, then we activate and then we enter the residence or take care of the situation.
And sometimes it's just sobering up.
Yep.
And,
Oh yeah. We've thrown in gas into houses, breaking out windows and everything else, trying to get people to come out because that's the only way they'll come out. But we've thrown in so much gas sometimes you're like, how can they not come out? But they've been on medications, overdose, and it's the way it is sometimes.
yeah.
What's it?
How did that guy, when he was up in the tree, did he give up or did somebody climb up the tree?
Oh, we assisted him. We helped him.
Did you know he was up there? I mean,
Oh.
could have been a kid or something.
No, we knew exactly what he looked like. After 2 weeks, we had a great idea as to exactly what he was. And what we had, we kept on, we did a grid. We had a big backed out area. We knew where he went into the woods. And then from there on, we set up a command post. And then our commander at that time basically split us up into different squads. And then from there, we started just doing a grid through all the woods. We cleared buildings and everything else. And basically, we pushed him to an area. And I was working that night. We went for a walk. We were doing the grid again. And we got to an opening, an elevated hill that had been clear cut. And there was a deer blind on top. So myself and 2 other troops on the ES team went up there. And we basically, the door was locked. Which on the deer blind, if it's locked, if it was locked, we were like, well, then why couldn't we get into it? And then we ended up prying it open, and there he was. Ended up dead.
Yeah, he got it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had the gun next to him, and he was smart enough not to use it. So that was not this, done well. So, yeah. But, yeah, that was 2 weeks of that.
I got 5 bars.
Oh, yes. Well,
Keep the bad guys.
yeah. And then we talked to people, and it wasn't supposed to be locked at that point in time.
Oh, really?
So that's why another indication that something was going on. So. Anything else, folks? Go ahead.
What inspired you to go into this line of work?
Of course, when I was 20, it always seemed like fun. It was just, I mean, you get to carry a gun.
Yeah.
And everything else, and getting into law enforcement. But then, as I looked into it, my wife, girlfriend at the time, her uncle, her great uncle, was a troop up in Houghton Lake. So I talked to him. And of course, he was telling me how fun it was and everything else. He's like, of course, you want to do that? I mean, fun and carrying a gun. And I'm like, yeah. So, of course, I was living in Clare at the time. I was going to Central Michigan, so I applied. I applied for the Clare City Reserve, and I worked there for 2 years, which gave me the experience that I needed to do. I went through another academy, the Portland Regional Police Academy, and then I became a city police officer for the city of Clare. And then from there, I went into the state police, just because I couldn't see myself at that time, and that's a preference, just working within the small confines of the city. At the state police, I saw the opportunity to expand and do a lot of different things, which I've done. Being on the drug team, the fugitive team, teaching at the training academy, and being on the ES team. And it's the first 18 years of my career have been just a blast because I've done so much. And I have so much knowledge to throw back on, and then I can also give that to the other troopers that have less experience than I do, and they haven't been exposed to situations.
There's a lot of them right now.
Yes, and we have our department's very, very young, which they're doing it because, but it used to be very old, but now everybody's retiring. And we need a lot more people.
They're very young, smart, and strong,
Yes.
I gotta say.
If you need anything with a computer, you can talk to them. Because you just used to write stuff. Now it's
Yeah.
type.
What age should we have to retire?
It's different. When myself and Trooper Hall got in the department, it was 25 years. And after 25 years, whether or not you started when you were 21, or if you started when you were 30 or 40, it was 25 years. Unless you had military. If you had military experience, you could take 2 years off so you could have 23 years if you had military experience. So I started when I was 21, so theoretically I could retire when I'm 26 or 46.
Yeah, they don't kick you out, you can stay in. Well, they do kick you out if you really screw up, but
But, yeah, but if you, but you can
you enjoy what you're
work
doing.
past your 25 years, or you can retire when you get 22 or 23 or 25 years.
I mean, they don't want somebody that's 60 years old, obviously.
Well, no, I don't think that would probably, and I don't think anybody that's 60 years old wants to be working the road, because I'll tell you, our job has changed so much in the last 18 years that I've been doing it, that I would not want to be, if I stayed when I would not want to be 55 in doing this job.
The physical part of that.
No, and I just don't think, and it just, the stress and everything else that comes with it.
What happened to fun?
Well, it's different when you're a supervisor too, but it's also different when you're working the road.
Yeah, it's just when you're 50, getting in and out of the car, and I'm young, I know it, but just 50, carrying this gear, and I've been doing it for 20 years, getting in and out of the car, my ankle, my knee, surgery, rehab, chasing guys, I've been hit by cars, by 2 other people, I've been T-boned in my patrol car, chasing 17-year-olds that just don't stop, you name it, and then just training with all the gear that we have. At the end of the day, my knees and hips are pretty tired.
Yeah.
So you just either you retire, or you stay in so long where when you do want to retire, you just are unable to have much mobility. So, yeah.
It's the stuff that was fun when you were 20.
And 30?
Sometimes.
Yeah, even in 30s.
Sometimes maybe not as fun as it was. So
Yeah.
it depends. And
It's
you'll-
not like old age.
yeah.
Yeah. It was fun when you were
The thing is there's also certain medications you can't be on when you're a police officer. So like if you were to get hurt and you're on blood thinners, yeah, you can't be a police officer. Go ahead, Nick.
Have you ever did undercover?
Yes, I was on the drug team and I was on the fugitive team, which is plainclothes, like wearing stuff like what you guys are wearing.
My brother did undercover, he was an officer in Columbia, Ohio,
Oh,
but he had his artificial ID, his driver's license, and long hair and a ponytail, and
yeah.
he got arrested and went in the front door of the police department, out the back door.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, exactly. But no, I was on the drug team for almost a year, and then I was on the fugitive team for 2 years.
Tell them what the fugitive team is.
Fugitive team, basically what it is, it's the plainclothes unit. We go in wearing jeans, flannels, whatever else, but we also wear vests underneath. And we have ID on us at some point in time and carrying guns. Fugitive team, which I was assigned to, was up in the 7th District, which is M55 all the way across the Ottawa and north. And we cover the UP as well. What we would do is we would get information from other departments or our own department of people that have warrants or they need to be located, and those departments aren't able to locate the people. And what we did is at that time, when they would give us the information on that person, we would have access to other databases to where we could try to find, like if someone was getting assistance for either a bridge card or through like Naval Affairs or Veterans Affairs or whatever else, we could tell where they were using or living or whatever else, and we could go to that area and try to talk to people, talk to family members, talk to
Neighbors.
neighbors, police departments or whatever else that maybe didn't know that that gentleman had a warrant or female had a warrant, and then we'd be able to be able to work that area until we could find them.
A lot of these guys are jerks and their family will give them up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Most
nice.
of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's nice to be able to not wear a uniform all the time and just be able to walk around in plain clothes, because obviously when you wear a uniform, you're identifiable as a police officer, but when you're in plain clothes, it's not so much. But
There was an incident on the news this morning that family members, we were talking to family members, turned in a family member.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a nut house.
Oh, yeah.
And the family actually discovered it and turned it in.
oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it's dangerous stuff.
Yeah, and that's sometimes it's family can either hinder or they'll help you all along. And the last thing is that, but you gotta also realize that if you know where someone is and they have a warrant, you can also get in trouble for harboring them too as well. So that's why you kind of talk to them a little bit about that. And after that, they're like, yep, he's right here.
I think this was at a different house, it was a family member,
Yes.
but it was at a different house.
Was that the one that you were talking about down in Mason County? Yeah. Yeah, it's a, yep. Yep, it's a gentleman had a warrant, I believe, for robbery out of Texas. And they ended up, through some good police work, ended up locating him. And he ended up, he wouldn't come out right away, and that's why they had, I think the sheriff down in Mason County said that they had to deploy gas into the house, and they broke some windows and everything. And that's the last thing you want to do, because it creates a lot of property damage, and you don't want to do that to people's houses.
Well, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I agree, but it's just that's the last thing you want to do. I mean, it's fun for us, but
Yeah.
so,
Now that you're getting more mature, you know, as far as age-wise, do you ever think of working for the feds in cybersecurity or some kind of less physical, but you could still go and do
I'm
something?
not that good at computers, so no.
But I mean, as far as to capture the guys that the other guys have caught,
Correct.
and then you go after them physically.
I think that the feds also have an age limit.
36.
Yeah, so I'm not able to
Oh, yeah.
anymore. But
Yeah.
I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't think about it when I was younger. But with the state police, it's different than working for the city here
Yeah.
and the county here, because we have so many different things that we can do as a state agency. Like I said, it's the drug team, teaching down at the training academy, being on the Fugitive team, being on the ES team and all the different things. That would not be available to me if I were to work for the city or the county here.
And then most of our families are in Michigan too, so I applied. Another guy from my apartment over in Kalkaska applied as well. Also, we had a guy in Petoskey that applied. He actually left, went in the FBI, and actually found it quite boring and came back to Petoskey. Yeah, they just can't guarantee Detroit. You're going to end up in Texas, Florida, or Southern California.
As the same thing with the state police when I came in. I mean, I was originally from down by Detroit. Well, when I got in the department, they said that, I wanted to go back down home. They're like, nope, you're going to Manistee, and I had no idea where Manistee
Yeah.
was. So they didn't send you where you wanted to go when I got in. Now they try to, because
Yes.
it's different, and they want people to stay where they're from. So, which we have a new troop in town that's married a local girl before he got assigned here, and he got Manistee, or Cadillac, and he lives in Manistee. So that's a
I like to go to court here in Manistee, and a lot of people are put on probation. How does that affect you when you got him, and then he gets probation? Does that affect you?
as a police officer.
Yeah,
No.
because you got to see him again. He's gonna be right out there.
Well, I guess if he commits another crime, it just makes it, or you can always talk to his probation officer, and then of course his bond or parole or probation gets revoked, and then we can talk to him at that point in time, if that's what you mean.
We understand the rules, and yet sometimes, when you first start, you're like, oh man, that guy just got out, and I just did all this work. But that's just the way it is. We got a really good system, I think, compared to the rest of the world. I think the United States has got a great justice system, and that's just part of what we have to deal with. So
Yeah.
only once in a great while do those guys get out of like prison or on probation, and then they start, you know, endangering other lives. So it's just part of the deal, part of the system, and I would never, and I can probably vouch for Rich. I know him as a person, but there's nothing I would ever do as far as like lie about anybody or anything anybody did. It's just not worth it. There are plenty of bad guys to get, and sometimes you got to let the other ones you can't get all the evidence you can on them go, and just work on the next one. Eventually, you will see that person again, and we do get them.
Yep.
So,
I've had to take action, arrest someone while I was off duty too, and that's part of it too. And that's it. You don't want other people to get hurt, and that's when you have to make a situation or take care of the situation. So.
Well, I was in court the other day, and the judge was arraigning somebody by video. And I think he was in Royal Oak, I'm not sure. And the judge said his name, and I go, I know him.
Yeah.
And I worked with him when I was working in the juvenile court. That was 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I know him. And I used to refer to him as insensitive property, job security. He's still in the system.
Yeah, well, sometimes that happens.
yep.
Never gets out of the system.
Sometimes that happens. Deal with the same people. Go ahead.
How do these drones affect you?
When I was on the ES team, we used drones. Depending on what type of situation, when I was on it, it came towards the latter part when I was on it, because we would use them to try to go over the house to try to find out where would be maybe a good place to have a position when we're trying to be on each corner of the house, or try to find out what's around the house so that everybody knows. Or if you're back at the command post and you want to see where everybody's at, you could send those up and send them over at a certain situation. Or if you had a spot where you just couldn't get to, you would send those up in the air, and then we have people that specialize in driving those. And they would go to a situation where you could get some surveillance.
Anybody and everybody can buy them nowadays?
Well, pretty much.
Yeah.
My son wants one.
Yeah.
But it's just that, I mean, I think you have to have, like, if you do get one, you're supposed to go to the FCC in order to register it and all that other stuff. And yeah,
Do they?
I'm sure that most of them do, but as with anything, I'm sure not everyone does.
They didn't at first though.
Depending, I mean, you can get them as little as what, $20, $30, or my brother-in-law, he's a farmer down in Shepherd,
Yeah.
and he also does insurance, so he does it for crop damage. Well, he paid roughly $10,000 for one, and it's just I can spend $10,000 on something else.
Yeah, you can get a really good one for about $200.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Actually, at Central High School in Traverse City, they have a drone class. They started this year. So.
They have, like, if you watch ESPN, they have like leagues.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They have like they have races with them.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah, and some of those old, like, decrepit buildings down in Detroit, they'll put the hoops in there, and they race through. They got the virtual reality glasses, and I'm sure we're going to go right to that eventually. So.
I'm sure.
Yep.
But yes, we've used them, and I have not had a.
There's no rules or regulations
Well,
other than the FCC.
Yeah, and then I guess that obviously you can't have them like near, or you're not supposed to deploy them near airports.
Yeah.
And there's other things for various reasons.
Yes.
Just because, I mean, if you send something up in the air, no way a plane's going to see it going 200 miles an hour and runs into it, and then we have an accident. Something like
Yes,
that.
in our department, you have to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And you have to be a pilot to be a spotter, for one, too, so.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. So, because when we deploy, sometimes when we deploy them on the ES team, we would be the pilot that's controlling the drone would be in the helicopter, and he would deploy it so that it could go out. Because you have to be within a certain distance, and maybe sometimes you just wouldn't be able. If you were stayed on the ground, you couldn't get it within the distance. So sometimes they'll take them up in the helicopter and take them off in that. Few and far between, but it does happen.
Yeah. We've come a long ways.
The world is changing.
Yeah.
Rapidly. Yeah. It's getting smaller.
Yeah.
All right.
Any more questions?
Thanks, Rich.
the parade. Hey, make some noise! Wow! Hey! Hey! About 1 minute to 2, they're starting right out on a button. Crusaders and Friends. Hi. Bobcat cheerleaders. Let's do a cheer. The old puddle jumper. Model A, Model C, they took everything off. Big wheels in the back. John Deere B. Arguably the finest tractor ever made. Made more than these John Deere Bs for about 40 years. There's an orange tractor. A gray tractor. Another orange tractor. John Deere 240. Another puddle jumper. Ford, probably a Model A. Soundsville lumber. Chevrolet. I like it better when they put the year on the side. You got a Calvary Bible School, Calvary Bible Church.
Hand it out, don't throw it. Hand out one or two. Get off to the side and hey Troy, if you had some basketball.
Have a horse.
All that time waiting, and he waits to get over here.
Oh yeah. What else you got to do? Nothing else to do. Three-horse hitch. That's what it's called, a three-horse hitch. But normally on a farm, you don't have a person on each side. Curly, Lo, and Joe, and Mary. No names? Good. Curly, Mo, and Larry. What is it? It's Urkel Farm.
Excellent. Yourself?
Thank you. Great. Enjoy your day. Big log truck. It was a pretty good sized log. There we have a drooping crane. Everybody? Omar's towing. They tow these vehicles many times they can't get them started. This guy probably did little more than wash his truck. I don't even know who owns this truck. We have a truck pulling a trailer. Pretty exciting. Not every day you see a truck pulling a trailer. Have a ATV. I think this is about it. Nope, we got more coming. Got Dixon Township Fire and Rescue. Little kid. Hello. Hi there, little kid. One fire truck, two fire trucks in a row. I don't know how many went by before. There's 2, Dixon Township. 3, Dixon Township. 4. 5. 5 fire trucks right in a row. Norman Township. Provided by those we protect. I was sitting back there, I don't know if he's going to stay there or what. That guy coming or just going to be...
No, he's coming a little distance.
Oh, he's going to show off.
It's a 100-mile-an-hour grass cutter.
100 miles an hour. All right. I'll believe it when I see it. See what it is, you're not going to find any grass out here.
What's he gonna do? Race down the road there?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Oh, come on, Grandpa. Now he's going to wait until this lady pulls out. He won't be able to do anything.
Sounds like it ought to go pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have gone 30. Well, I hustled down to the road here. Notice I'm not even breathing heavy. A lot of people down here watching the parade. Cute little girl. Probably about, yeah. people here today. That big orange thing on the side is a big collapsible tank. They put that on the ground, set it up, and then they bring water out of a fire hydrant or something like that, and then they suck water out of it, go into the truck. Don't fall. Don't fall. I hate it when that happens. Rescue 5. No, Rescue 1, I'm sorry.
Did your dad leave? No? There he is. Lady, are you crying? Did the tears belong